Hello my friends, David Kessler here and welcome back to the studio. Today let's talk about blending edges. Lots of times in workshops, we're going to talk about acrylic paint. I use acrylic paint. Lots of times students in workshops don't really know how to blend edges. And one of the discussions we have is about edges and how edges can be hard edges and softer edges, and how the harder edges come forward and create interest and are used primarily at the centers of interest, and then away from the centers of interest the edges get more blended so that the eye can move freely through a painting. So you can help manipulate how people look at your painting by using edges, and blended edges are a very important thing to know how to do, and some students don't know how to do it, so we're going to go over that today. Alright, here we go. Now here's how we're going to blend a soft edge. What I've got here are harder edges. This is basically hard edges everywhere between our purple and our pink. And you just take any kind of a brush. I don't think it has to be a dry brush. I don't think it has to be a wet brush. But what has to happen to blend two edges together is that both edges need to be wet. For instance, this paint needs to be wet and that paint needs to be wet for them to properly blend. And remember, let's go parallel with the edge, right? So basically all you do is you just do that. And voila, blended edge. Now, I see a fair amount of students that don't know how to blend. I see them doing this, going across the edge. And you see what a mess that makes? That's not what you want to do. That's just a zigzag mess. That's not blended, right? This is a blended edge. Now what I typically will do, for the most part, I just blend it with my finger because I paint kind of fast and that's sort of the way I do it. So that's pretty easy. The other way I've seen people explain it is to do it in a sort of a figure eight pattern. And really what that is and what that does is it just brings one color paint over into the other color paint. So you're kind of doing this sort of a number, right? So for me, I don't know if that's the best approach. I gotta get a little bit more water on my brush. Well, you can see that's probably, I just made a mess out of that. So let's just say that's a crappy approach. That's not gonna be your best approach. But this for me is the best approach. Just, you're just using a little bit of pressure on a brush, just enough to meld those colors together, parallel with the edge, right? Not perpendicular to the edge. All right, so the next time you're doing a painting and you need to work on blending your edges, this is a good approach. I just kind of screwed this up. The figure eight approach is fine. I think you do it a little more subtly than I was trying to do it. But use some blended edges as you move away from the center of interest. Be sure use some blended edges, and use some harder edges in towards your center of interest. And I think your paintings will read a lot better and will let people's eye move through the paintings more easily. So I hope this tip was helpful for you. If you want to join me for a workshop, I'll put a link at the bottom of this video so that you can see my list of workshops. Both 2018 and 2019 are now available. Join me for one of those. We have a good time. We're going to learn about edges and a lot of other things relative to abstract painting. If you like the video, please share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.